YouTube, good morning. What is up? Welcome to the video. We're back, starting in the kitchen. Just woke up. You already know, it's breakfast time. Cooking up the eggs, scrambling these eggs, and then I got the sour toast going right there. Best meal of the day. Also just took multivitamin and some creatine. And then I'm drinking on some electrolytes. But I ran out of the transparent lounge electrolytes. And I found these Propel ones, this kiwi strawberry. Golly, it is delicious. I like throwing stuff in my water. It just helps me drink a ton of water. But this will be breakfast. Good day started. Let's go. And there it is. The usual 5 eggs, onions, green pepper, 4 ounces turkey, a little bit of cheese, sourdough bread, some butter. This is what dreams are made of. If I ate eggs for every meal for the rest of my life, I'd die a happy man. There's nothing better than this. All right, just finished breakfast. Honestly, my morning routine, I like starting the day kind of slow. So I eat the breakfast. I wake up between like 4, 6:30 usually. So it was like 6 today. Usually right around 6. That's when my body wakes up, eat breakfast, and then probably kind of chill for the first 45 minutes to an hour of the day. Literally, I just love sitting on my couch. And I just throw in some YouTube as background. Drinks, and then start sipping on some caffeine. And then once the caffeine starts to hit, then I'll start doing some work. That's usually when I get my most productive work. I'll whip out the computer, get all my programs, all that stuff done, my ideas. That's when from like 7 to 9, that's when the brain is flowing. So probably do that today, or I usually go somewhere. I might get a Starbucks or a coffee shop. But anyways, looking at my sleep. So I use a Whoop to track all my sleep, and I'll throw it up here. But got 8 hours of sleep last night, a little over 8 hours. So my goal, knowing I wake up at 6 a.m. no matter what each day, I have to work backwards. So usually I go to bed around 9:15. That's my cutoff. So again, I don't have a nighttime routine either where it's like, 30 minutes before bed I do this. I just found I'll probably be, usually I'm in bed at like 8:45, and I kind of just lay in or like 8:30, honestly. Sometimes 8, but I'll just lay in my phone until I'm kind of tired. And then at 9:15, no matter what, I put it down, and that's when I go to sleep. So sometimes, like last night, I went to bed at like 8:30, but other times it could be like 9, but it's always a 9:15 cutoff. So I found that was a big help. Consistent sleep and wake time, super helpful. Because even there are some days like where I do wake up a little earlier, like 5:15, or maybe it takes me a little longer to fall asleep, and maybe I only get like 7 hours and 20 minutes of sleep. I still feel great because my body's asleep during that same exact time. But obviously sleep's such an important part of recovery, and the amount of training I want to do, and I do, it's like, why would I not emphasize sleep as much as possible so that I can train more? And I wake up feeling great every day. So today will be a fun one. Got a pull day today, so kind of change up the split a little bit. I'll talk about that a little more, and then some conditioning, some recovery. But yeah, start the day. So getting into the pull day. So changing up my split. I haven't done a pull day probably in like 10 years since I first started lifting when I was like 13, 14, 15, that age range, the first couple years. But trying to emphasize a little more hypertrophy now. I'm lifting 6 days a week. I've always done more of a performance base the last couple of years, playing rugby and other sports and training for that. But now that I'm not playing a sport, I love lifting weights. I love bodybuilding, so I'm doing a little bit of best of both worlds. So with the higher frequency, I want to kind of focus on one push day, one pull day, really emphasize those muscles. And then the second day, or the second time going around, maybe a chest to back, shoulders and arms. But started with 5 sets of 6 on pull-ups, staple movement. Always going to hit that. The main goal with those pull-ups is I wanted 30 good reps there. So I picked a weight where it's like, essentially I wanted to get it where I wasn't kipping at the top. Not that it's horrible to kip on the last rep, that's fine, but where they're pretty strict reps. So 30 good reps there, 5 sets, 6 there, and then I did a chest-supported T-bar row. Love the T-bar row there. I use a smaller plate to get a bigger full range of motion. Good thing about that thing is you can really get a huge stretch at the bottom and then pull the top. I did 4 sets, 6 to 8 there, and then I got in these single arm rows. So single arm rows, kind of using the back of the bench. Usually I'll do like one knee on the bench, or maybe both feet off the bench. I like this one a little higher up, and I almost like bend my elbow. Get a huge stretch in my lat. I was trying to be a little more strict. This is like my third set. The first two I was kind of I recording. I was like, man, I'm kind of like no tempo at all with this. So on these last couple sets, I was trying to pause slightly. It doesn't look like much of a pause, but at least squeeze at the top and then controlled on the way down. And these felt great. This was the third back movement. So the pull day, how I set it up, I did 4 back movements, 2 upper back, and then 2 biceps. So overall goal is kind of volume. So it was like 15 sets of back, like 6 sets of traps and rear delts, and like 7 sets of biceps. So a good amount of volume. And that's what I like to train. I love doing higher volumes. A lot of people always comment like, that's way too much volume. There's no way you can recover from that. And then it's, look, train the way you want to. I've just always done higher volume. So I've been training for 13 years, and I did high volume from the beginning of training till I currently do it. So I think I've just adapted to it. Your body is pretty robust, and it can adapt to things. That's the cool thing about it. So I gravitate more towards high volume. I like doing a little more, and I'm still able to get a lot out of each set. That's the goal. And then this right here, a little rest pause. So 3 sets lat pull down, 10 to 12 range. Went to failure on the last one. And then 20-second rest and just banged out as many extra reps as possible. So when I'm training these, especially with like now that I'm doing a push and pull, I kind of like it. It was a little different. Like I'm able to get one movement at a time. I'm so used to superset and stuff. I've been trying to move away from that. Not that superset's bad. Supersets are great. I still love doing them. But I think especially for these, like sometimes I have a tendency, maybe if I superset something, I get overwhelmed and maybe I lose some intent. So like doing one movement at a time and resting, you can just really focus on the movement. So that's what I've been trying to do the last couple of days with the push and the pull. Just, all right, it's one movement at a time. Let's really hone in on this movement and lock in. So I like that. Those are all the back moves. So the pull-ups, 5 sets, 6. Chestboard rows, 4 sets, 6 to 8. 4 sets of 8 to 10 on those single arm rows. And then 3 sets, 10 to 12 on the lat pull downs. And then here I did do a superset, but I really like this superset. Blow up your upper back, traps, rear out. So I did seated shrugs there. Really enjoy those. Those are actually, I just started implementing those. Second time I've done them. Doing more trap work now because why not? Haven't done a lot of trap work in the past, or it's been a little bit, but I've been neglecting that area. So I definitely need to throw those in. And then supersetting with like a rear delt, chestboard to fly here. Did 15 reps of both. Nice meaty upper back pump, which is always fun to get. So that was a fun little superset I've been doing. Definitely keep that in and play around with that, like doing a trap and rear delt movement together. I really enjoy that. And then finish the session off with the freaking biceps. So just a classic easy bar curl here. Did like 4 sets, 8 to 10 range. I like the easy. I was doing the barbell curls last couple of weeks. I definitely like the easy bar with the little grooves in it. Feels a little better on my wrist and my hands there. And biceps just, I feel like I can keep my arms locked in a little more, but it feels like the biceps just gonna pop at the top, which is a great feeling. So finish with 4 sets there and then just finish the session with these alternating curls. I love alternating curls. This was actually cool to see because I'm so used to always doing antagonist supersets, biceps and triceps. So by just doing my biceps and resting in between, typically I'll do these alternating curls and like from doing a tricep movement before, my forearms will be so cooked that my forearms will actually give up before my biceps. But on this day, because I didn't have that fatigue in my forearms, my biceps are giving out before, which is obviously the goal. You know, it's a bicep movement. So that was pretty nice to see, as opposed to like my forearms feeling like baseball bats full of blood. I was actually feeling because my biceps couldn't handle it. So that was pretty cool. And I think that's something I'm going to play around with and kind of see with these push and pull days. Get a little more intent out of it, but really isolate a muscle. And that's the beauty of training. Changing up the split is always fun. All right, just got back from the gym, making lunch, staple lunch right here, salmon, asparagus, rice. This, my breakfast, and then like steak fajitas have been, eat them pretty much every day, staples. But anyway, as far as my training, so today I did a full pull day, which is actually the first time I've done that in forever. I can't even remember the last time I did that. But kind of changing up my split a little bit. So traditionally I've been doing like a legs, chest, back, shoulders, arms, legs, chest, back, shoulders, arms, essentially like almost like a full push pull and then some accessory arms and shoulders. But because I'm not playing a sport now, obviously performance is still a big part, and that's still a big part of my training, but I do love bodybuilding style, and I'm trying to do more of that because I'm lifting 6 days a week, so I get a little more volume in and really isolate muscle. So I think my split moving forward is gonna be legs, push-pull, legs, chest, back, shoulders, arms. So I get both those days because I like the push and pull day, and it's foreign to me. I'm so used to like supersetting everything, so it's kind of nice just doing one movement at a time, really emphasizing that resting doing it again, and then just crushing, the pushing muscles one day and the pulling the other. But I still do like doing those shoulders, arms, chest, and back, because obviously on a push day, by the time I get to the triceps, or on a pull day, by the time I get to biceps, they're kind of fatigued. So on an arm day, I can get a little more there. But it's a fun part about playing around the split, find what works. Yeah, I've been rolling with that last one for a long time, but because, I'm not, obviously I want to be as athletic as possible, still accomplish all those. I'm still doing that with all my sprinting, conditioning, jumping, lower body training. But I think my upper body kind of transition, at least see what I can do. Because I think bodybuilding's sweet. It's fun. I love doing it. So getting to emphasize both parts, that's the game plan. So that's the new split. But anyways, this is cooked up. We got like 9.5 ounces of salmon, asparagus, and then I got this bag of rice. I'm a big 90-second rice guy. They're so convenient, so easy to do. And then I love soy sauce, so I put a ton of soy sauce on there because it was like 10 calories. And yeah, this meal has been delicious. I kind of got bougie. This is like the paleo salmon from Whole Foods. Pretty expensive. Probably dropping too big of a bag each time I go there, but the macros on it, it's like, they're telling you like 7.5 grams of fat, or like 8 grams of fat per 4 ounces, as opposed to like regular Atlantic salmon, which is like, I think like 14 to 16. So a little less calories, so I can have a little more, and more is always better. But dig into this meal and get to the next part. All right, back at the gym, session number 2, just some light conditioning. So bike 1,000 meters, skier 500 meters, rower 500 meters. I'm just gonna go for 45 minutes continuous, or essentially 7 rounds, because I did it last week. I did like 6 2/3 rounds, and it took exactly 45. So I'll just finish with the rower one more time and go about 47 minutes. So I do this once a week, just come steady state conditioning. Nothing crazy. Pop on a podcast. Go for like a, I don't really go based off heart rate. It's kind of like a 5 or a 6 out of 10, but just kind of build base there. With my other conditioning, with the speed and tempo runs, it's all running base. So one day, get off the legs, and then also just a way to get some extra conditioning, accumulate some volume, and then feel good though, because tomorrow I'll do legs, so we'll get into that too. Finished at the gym, ended up doing that conditioning session, got 7 rounds, took about 47 minutes. So 1,000 meters bike, 500 meters skier, 500 meters row. 7 rounds total. Last week I did 6.66, as in I did 2/3 of the last round, not the rower. So this time just did all 7. Took a little over 45 minutes, but just a steady pace. I had a podcast on, I had a Nick Baer podcast on. I was getting freaking motivated while getting some conditioning, and 2 birds with 1 stone right there. But it was good. Again, I do that once a week, kind of more just steady state conditioning. Been playing around with the last couple weeks. Maybe I'll go to twice a week. We'll see. But after that, end up going in the sauna and plunge. Do 20 minutes sauna, 2 minutes in the plunge, 2 rounds through. I love that little contrast therapy. Throw that in 3 times a week. Wednesdays, because it's the middle of the week, it breaks it up. Sunday's my off day, and then Fridays usually as well. Super good for recovery. Definitely feel really good. Obviously that on top of sleep and nutrition helps a lot. So yeah, good day of training. Got all that stuff in.